Jersey City lay under a gray blanket of twilight as Abigail Lancer, draped in a coat of solemn navy, traced the cobblestone path leading to the enigmatic edifice of the local museum. As her leather shoes echoed against the stone, a shard of memory flickered. Flames dancing in the hearth of her childhood home, a soothing contrast to the chilling wind that now pierced the fabric of her coat, stirring the pale scars that marred her skin. Reminders of a tragedy she had come to live with but never overcome. A file stuffed with photos and witness testimonies tucked under her arm whispered stories of vanishing souls, all tied inexplicably to the museum. A janitor who never returned from a night shift, a tour guide disappearing in broad daylight, a curator vanishing into thin air, leaving his hot coffee untouched on the mahogany desk. She halted before the museum, its stony countenance bathed in the austere glow of the setting sun. She stared at the grand entrance of gnarled oak, its medieval design a stark juxtaposition to the city's modern pulse. Gothic gargoyles frowned from above, their stone eyes casting judgment, their secrets locked behind a granite silence. This museum was an anachronism, a time-forgotten relic holding its ground against the marching clock, as if a silent guardian of the city's past, and perhaps its present mysteries. In the uneasy stillness, a figure materialized, his approach softened by the fallen autumn leaves. Thomas Lord, Abigail's partner, carried a sincerity in his eyes that had drawn her to him in their early academy days. His every word was seasoned with an unusual warmth that kindled trust, a valuable commodity in their line of work. "You got the file?" His question shattered the silence, his gaze flickering towards the document under her arm. "Everything that's left of them," she responded, her voice tinged with the weight of the unseen lives within the file. She passed it to him, their gloved hands brushing, a current of shared purpose passing between them. Thomas flipped open the file, his brows furrowing as he pored over the details. The sigh that escaped his lips was heavy with a mixture of dread and intrigue. "This ain't like anything we've seen before, Abby," he murmured, an unsettling chill tainting his warm baritone. She nodded, her gaze lost in the intimidating facade of the museum. She could feel its ancient heart pulsating with untold stories. The wind whispered through its stone corners, carrying echoes of the disappeared, their fates tied to its unseen bowels. As the sun bade its final goodbye, plunging the city into the arms of the night, the museum seemed to swell under the crescent moon's cold glow. Behind its silent walls, a mystery breathed, waiting to be unraveled, to be drawn out from the abyss of the unknown into the piercing gaze of human understanding. Abigail, haunted by her past, stood before the looming structure, ready to step into the cryptic abyss, the flickers and shadows of her past, her present, and the daunting future, all intertwined in the silent, brooding monument of time. Little did she know this journey would resonate with the echoes of her forgotten nightmares, leading her closer to a cosmic horror wrapped in the shroud of humanity's oblivious existence. The first steps into the labyrinth had been taken. Where they led, only time would whisper. The following day saw a muted dawn, its light cautious as if wary of the ancient edifice that had swallowed lives without a trace. Abigail, her features hardened by determination, and Thomas, his usual warmth replaced by an edge of apprehension, walked through the grand entrance of the museum, stepping from the predictable reality of Jersey City into the enigmatic embrace of the past. Their steps echoed through the grand hall, reverberating off stone walls lined with time-worn paintings, their eyes dwelling on each artifact that bore silent witness to the museum's otherworldly aura. Flickering electric lights cast long, dancing shadows that seemed to toy with their perceptions, and a cold undercurrent of dread snaked its way up her spine. In the heart of the museum, they discovered an old library, a sanctuary of forgotten lore. Dust-laden books towered over them, their spines bending under the weight of centuries. As she ran her fingers over an ancient tome, a rush of déjà vu sent shivers down her arm. Somewhere deep in her subconscious, the lick of flames danced and roared, her memories of the inferno aligning with this newfound fear. The musty smell of old parchment ignited a recollection, the charred remains of her family home, ashes swirling like snowflakes in the chill night air. An unassuming box caught their attention. Inside, they found numerous scrolls, their inky narratives painting tales of a malevolent entity believed to be trapped within the museum's walls. An old hand-drawn diagram showed a being of impossible geometry, an unholy merging of shapes and spaces, a blasphemy against nature's order. The words surrounding it spoke of an ancient pact, a cosmic bargain that echoed with an unsettling familiarity. "Abby, look at this!" Thomas called, his voice shaking as he held up an artifact, a luminescent stone of otherworldly origin, pulsating with an ethereal glow. The faint hum it emitted buzzed in her ears, matching the rhythm of her rapidly beating heart. It was a siren's call, beautiful yet dangerous, a lure into the heart of a celestial labyrinth. As they uncovered more about the entity, she felt a pull, a sense of twisted kinship. It was as though the entity's cry resonated with her own hidden traumas. A realization began to gnaw at her. The fire, her survival. It wasn't merely a random disaster. It was a brush with the unknown, an encounter with the unfathomable horrors that lurked just beyond the veil of reality. That night, she lay awake in her apartment, the city's soundscape a jarring contradiction to the silence she felt within. Images of the fire overlapped with the grotesque diagrams from the museum, a jigsaw puzzle of past and present nightmares. She knew then that the museum held not just the city's mysteries, but her own as well. A sense of foreboding permeated the air, the specter of cosmic horror looming large. The museum, no longer a mere building, was alive in her mind, its veins pulsating with stories waiting to be told, its heart beating in sync with her own mounting fear. In this unnerving dance with the unknown, she felt herself spiraling closer toward the truth, towards a revelation that threatened to shatter her understanding of reality and self. As the sun's rays graced the museum's stoic facade, Abigail and Thomas found themselves delving deeper into the building's darkened halls, the unease of the past days molding into an oppressive sense of impending doom. One afternoon, in a room filled with locked cabinets and dust-choked shelves, she discovered a concealed drawer. A set of letters lay inside, bound by a faded velvet ribbon. Her fingers trembled as she unraveled the knot, her eyes scanning the aged ink. They were correspondences, all marked with Thomas's handwriting, the words dancing to a tune of treacherous intentions. They spoke of a pact, an unholy union with the entity they had been investigating. She held in her hand a documentation of betrayal, the ink a testament to her partner's involvement with whatever claimed the victims they sought. The realization hit her like an icy gust. Thomas had been undermining their investigation, feeding information to the very monster they sought to apprehend. The familiar warmth of his voice now seemed a chilling mockery, his sincerity a well-crafted mask hiding a darker purpose. Her heart pounded in her chest, a violent percussion underscoring her disbelief and shock. Summoning her strength, she confronted Thomas. His usual jovial demeanor faltered under her intense gaze, the mask slipping, revealing a hollow man standing on the precipice of damnation. He confessed, his voice tainted with guilt and an odd sense of relief, his eyes mirroring the abyss he had willingly chosen to dance with. "I had to do it, Abby," he pleaded, his voice a broken whisper. It promised salvation." Abigail's voice was steel, her disappointment mirroring the gray, storm-laden sky outside. "No salvation comes from consorting with the unfathomable, Thomas. You've doomed us all." The museum, once a silent witness, now thrummed with anticipation, the invisible heartbeat beneath its stone walls pulsating stronger, echoing the rhythm of her dread. The museum wasn't just an ancient structure anymore. It was a beast, a cosmic horror brought to life by her partner's betrayal. She was left alone, her only ally now a foe, ensnared by a timeless creature, a behemoth of celestial terror that began to stretch its tendrils through the veil of their reality. Her dread of the fire resurfaced, a premonition from her past, a harrowing foreshadowing of the disaster that loomed over Jersey City. Despite the odds, she had a city to protect, a monstrous plot to thwart. With newfound resolve, she moved deeper into the museum's labyrinth. An ancient clock tolled ominously, each chime a countdown to an impending confrontation between human will and cosmic horror. Betrayal may have shaken her, but it also steeled her determination. Her greatest test was yet to unfold. Abigail stood alone in the heart of the museum, the air thick with the scent of old stones and darker secrets. Guided by the ethereal hum of the otherworldly stone, she found herself before a hidden door, its archaic inscriptions whispering of celestial portals and timeless guardians. Her heart pounded a dirge of impending confrontation. Armed with her unwavering resolve, she pushed open the portal, her senses assaulted by a disorienting spectacle. It was as though she had stepped into the canvas of a mad painter. The space was a chaotic amalgamation of shifting forms, rippling landscapes that defied earthly laws, and a pulsating, many-eyed entity whose gaze held galaxies in their depths. It was a universe within a room, a cosmic nightmare come alive. Despite her terror, she stood her ground. Thomas's betrayal echoed in her mind, the image of his sorrow-filled eyes a stark reminder of what she was fighting against. "I won't let you consume our world," she declared, her voice ringing clear and true. The entity responded, its voice a thousand whispers woven into one. "I am but a mirror, reflecting the horrors within you." The room shifted, the walls melting away to reveal an all-too-familiar scene. Her childhood home ablaze, a conflagration mirroring the trauma etched into her soul. But amidst the inferno, she saw a figure, her younger self, terrified yet resolute, pulling herself from the flames, choosing life amid certain death. She suddenly understood. The entity was a reflection of the horror within, born of trauma and fear, a monster fed by despair. It was a mirror of her own survival, a testament to her resilience and strength. Drawing on this realization, she faced the entity, her voice steady. "We may be flawed, chaotic, but that's what makes us human. Our traumas do not define us. Our actions do." The entity thrummed, the room quaking, the distorted reality rippling around her. Then slowly, it began to recede, the chaotic space reshaping into the familiar stone walls of the museum. With a final, otherworldly sigh, the entity retreated, a monstrosity banished by human resolve. Exhausted yet triumphant, Abigail emerged from the museum, the first light of dawn washing over her. The city she had vowed to protect lay untouched, oblivious of the cosmic horror that had threatened to consume it. She had not only solved the mystery of the museum, but had also faced her own hidden demons. The betrayal and the cosmic horror had tested her, burned her in the celestial fire. But just like the girl who survived the flames years ago, she emerged from it all, stronger, wiser. With the rising sun warming her tired bones, she walked away from the museum, the city's guardian, its protector from the unseen horrors lurking in the cosmic shadows. The case was closed, but the echoes of her confrontation would linger, a haunting melody of her dance with the cosmic inferno. Her journey was proof that, even in the face of otherworldly terrors, the human spirit could hold its own, surviving and thriving amidst the chaos, a beacon in the vast cosmic dark. We appreciate you tuning in. If you fancied the content, show your support with a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to keep up with our eerie adventures. Eldritch Tales Factory has plenty more to offer. Until next time.